here's your hosts, Bo and Andy.
On this week's episode of the Big Thunder Podcast, we are playing Deception Detection. I will give you 3 statements about Snow White, both the animated film and the live-action remake, the original Grimm's fairy tale, and her history in the Walt Disney theme parks. It's up to you to find the falsehoods. There are 10 questions spread out over 2 themes, the past and the present. You need to successfully detect 6 deceptions in order to win the game. We played this game before a few times in the past, covering Epcot, Universal Studios Florida, and Halloween Horror Nights. Any questions before we begin?
No, I have no questions.
Part 1, the past.
Okay. My glasses are just... Can't think when they're so dirty.
With the original title of Sneewittchen, Snow White is a German fairy tale published by the Brothers Grimm in 1812. Which of the following does not appear in their version of Snow White? Is it A, the queen tries to kill Snow White 3 times, once with the corset, once with the poisoned comb, and finally with the poisoned apple? Is it B, Snow White is awakened when the prince kisses her? Or C, the evil queen is forced to dance in red-hot iron shoes until she dies as punishment for her crimes? Which of those does not appear in the Grimm's fairy tale version of Snow White?
I don't think the prince kisses her. That feels like a Disney edition.
That is correct. In the Grimm version, Snow White wakes up when the prince's servants accidentally jostle the glass coffin, dislodging the poisoned apple from her throat.
Well, that's simple. So she choked.
On a poison apple. It was like
but then,
double
but then
crimes.
came alive. Okay.
Question 2. In 1937, Walt Disney released Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the first feature-length animated film from a Hollywood studio. Which of these statements about the making of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is false? Is it A, the film was so expensive to make that people called it Disney's folly, believing it would ruin the company?
False.
Is it B, the queen's transformation scene into an old hag was done using real-life footage of an actress transforming through makeup and effects? Or is it C, the film received a special Academy Award that consisted of 1 regular-sized Oscar and 7 miniature ones?
C.
C is false?
Wait. No, A is false.
A is false. Disney's folly?
Because it was Fantasia.
No, that is true. People thought Snow White would be the downfall
That is not
of Disney
false?
Studios. That is true. Disney's folly.
I always thought Fantasmic.
Fantasia?
Not Fantasmic. Fantasia was the...
Yeah, well, there were a lot of projects over the years.
So everything Disney did. People
a lot of things
like,
were like, this is going to be the one that breaks Disney.
Okay, so if that's not it, I mean, I know I'm not getting the point, but my guess then is the witch?
Correct. The queen's transformation was achieved through hand-drawn animation, not live-action footage. Correct. Well, correct.
But I don't know that they didn't... What got me was I didn't know if they had someone standing there as they were, like, drawing
gotcha.
it.
Sure.
Okay.
Question 3. Sticking with the original animated film, which of these statements about the production of Snow White and Seven Dwarfs is false? A. Some animators opposed the name Dopey, thinking it was too modern. Walt convinced them that the name was just fine by telling them Shakespeare used the term, even though the term Dopey is yet to be found in any Shakespearean works.
That feels like a Walt thing.
B.
I'm guessing what's true or what's false.
You're telling me what's false.
Okay.
B. Lucille Laverne, the voice of the evil queen, reportedly achieved the older, raspier version of the old hag's voice by taking out her teeth. And C. Walt Disney wanted Shirley Temple to voice Snow White, but she turned down the role.
I feel like that's true. The actress taking out her teeth, I kind of feel like that could be true too. I'm going to say it's the Shirley Temple one is not true because I feel like he did want her, but it wasn't Snow White.
That is correct. Shirley Temple was never considered for the role of Snow White.
What was she considered for?
I don't know.
I feel like, unless, am I confusing it with Wizard of Oz? Did they want her
they did
as
want
Dorothy?
Shirley for Wizard of Oz,
Okay.
Yes. Next question. One of Disneyland's opening attractions was Snow White and Her Adventures, redesigned and renamed Snow White's Scary Adventures in 1983. It was rethemed again in 2021 with its current name, Snow White's Enchanted Wish. Which of these statements about the Snow White attraction is false? A. In the original version, Snow White was not physically present. You were meant to be her.
That is true.
B. The ride was considered too scary for children, which led to a redesign that added Snow White herself and softened the scarier elements.
That is also true.
And C. The ride featured an animatronic Prince Charming singing to Snow White at the end.
That is false.
Correct.
Look at me knowing my Disneyland part Facts.
The ride never had an animatronic Prince Charming. It ended rather abruptly after the Evil Queen's defeat.
They were like, get out of here. We've scared you, now go get some popcorn.
The final question in the past. As most 90s kids know, the best way to spend a Friday night was watching TGIF. The 2-hour block of family-friendly sitcoms on ABC. And probably the most iconic night of TGIF was when every show went to Disney World.
Oh my gosh. It literally was. I even knew what you were going to say because that's how iconic it was.
Yes, you are finishing my sentences.
TGIF. Let's take a minute. Let's pour one out for TGIF.
Please don't pour one out in the Big Thunder Studios. Which of the following is not true about Snow White's appearance on the 1993 Full House episode, The House Meets the Mouse Part 2? Is it A, Snow White meets Michelle outside the Enchanted Tiki Room? B, Snow White takes Michelle to a tea party featuring Dopey Donald, Pinocchio, and others? Or C, Snow White meets Joey and Stephanie outside Disney's Polynesian Resort to tell them that their whole family gets to be in the parade?
Which one is not true?
Which one is not true? This entire game, you just have to tell me which one is not true.
They didn't stay at the Poly, they stayed at the Grand Floridian, so I'm going to say C.
That is correct. It was the Grand Floridian.
I know the details. Because I will never forget being disappointed getting to the Grand Floridian and it not looking
as it did on Full House.
And then you told me that they filmed it from the back.
Yeah.
And not from the front.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I
would imagine they couldn't disrupt the actual guests, so they couldn't be in the main entrance.
Wow, God, that was so good. Do you remember when Steve was Aladdin?
Yeah.
Because he was the voice of Aladdin.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I was just like, oh, cutie patootie Steve is Aladdin. And Michelle got to be princess for the day. And it was Stephanie's turn.
Yep, she budged. She stole her turn.
So rude.
How rude.
How rude.
Indeed, Stephanie.
Poor Stephanie.
Now, we're now entering part 2, the present. On an earlier episode of the Big Thunder podcast, we discussed the director of the live-action adaptation of Snow White that opens this weekend. We haven't seen it yet. Mm-hmm. Which of the following is not true about said director? Is it A, that his name is Mark Webb? Is it B, that he directed the 3 Tom Holland-led Spider-Man films, that's Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Spider-Man No Way Home?
So many homes.
Or is it C, that he was an executive producer on the musical dramedy series Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which ran for 4 seasons on the CW?
I feel like he did not direct Spider-Man.
That is correct. He did not direct those Spider-Man movies.
He directed, I was going to say Jonathan Groff.
Wow, that would be
so
quite the Spider-Man film.
Oh my God. Don't tell me.
Okay.
Black hair.
Not really.
Was with Emma Stone. What?
That is true.
His hair is very black.
Black hair.
Black hair? Yes?
No. Black hair.
Sir, what's his name? Don't tell me.
Okay.
He's British. He was in the Heights.
No, he was not in the Heights.
Nope, he was in oh my God. He was in the musical that the Lin-Manuel wrote.
Tick, Tick, Boom.
Thank you. He went on the most adorable chicken shop date.
Correct.
With Amelia Herberg.
Yep. That's her
name.
name.
What is his name? Glasses.
Sometimes. You don't get bonus points.
I just want to win.
Okay.
I just need this. My brain's flipping through the catalogs.
Okay.
His name is not John.
Nope.
Or Jonathan.
Nope. His name was Jonathan in Tick, Tick, Boom.
What's his name? You can tell me.
You ready?
Yeah.
Andrew
Garfield.
There it is. All right. So now, it should be noted for this next question at the time of recording, we haven't seen the film yet.
We have not.
Songwriters Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, who previously wrote the lyrics for 2 new songs for Disney's 2019 remake of Aladdin, wrote new songs for this Snow White adaptation that is going to be released this weekend, alongside Jack Feldman as an additional lyricist. These new songs include A, a new I Want song for Snow White titled Waiting on a Wish, B, a new villain song for the Evil Queen titled All Is Fair, or C, a new Stick to the Status Quo song titled Just Wash the Steps.
I'm gonna say because they have marketed it as a new empowering Snow White, that it's Snow White's I Want song.
Is fake? Is false?
Oh, that's the real one.
Again,
Son of a gun.
every question.
The washing
which
of the
one?
stairs. Washing of the stairs is fake.
Correct.
Okay.
Washing of the Stairs is fake. Opening in 2014 as part of the new Fantasyland expansion, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
That was 2014?
Yeah.
Whoa. Sorry.
Yeah, she's a decade old at this point.
We went when the walls were up.
I know. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is a steel roller coaster located at Magic Kingdom. Which of the following is not true about Seven Dwarfs Mine Train?
Not true.
Not true. A, the ride was first imagined by Michael Eisner, who wanted more thrill rides in the park to impress his teenage kids. B, the queue for the ride features a game where guests can make an animation of a dancing Snow White appear if they spin a series of gems correctly.
That is true.
Or C, the attraction features a new ride system of a tilting vehicle which simulates the swaying and tipping of a minecart.
Aw, the Michael Eisner one's fake?
That is correct.
That would have been a fun fact if that was true.
That's actually kind of the origin of Splash Mountain. Is he wanted more thrill rides for a teenage audience.
I love Splash Mountain, formerly known as Splash Mountain, currently known as Tiana's Bayou Adventure,
Yep.
TM.
All right, next question. While she appears in various parades and cavalcades in the parks and might pop up as a surprise here and there are only two places where you are guaranteed to meet Snow White. They are A, Princess Fairytale Hall in Magic Kingdom, B, a character dining experience at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, or C, the Germany Pavilion in Epcot.
You cannot meet her at Princess Fairytale Hall.
That is correct. You are not guaranteed to meet her.
You are not. She may pop in, but you will find her at her Storybook restaurant, and you will find her in Germany at Epcot.
Are you ready for our final question?
Yes, am I winning? I feel really good about
I
this.
lost count, but I'm confident you're winning.
Okay. I feel really solid.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that dining experience at Storybook Dining at Artist Point with Snow White, guests can savor a delicious dinner that the whole family will love, with appearances from
Sorry.
Snow White, Dopey, Grumpy, and the Evil Queen.
Okay, but who is saying the whole family is going to love this? Because have you seen the menu?
It's Disney. And yes, it's funny you bring up the menu because that's what my question is
Oh,
about.
it's crazy. Let's go.
Which of the following is something you will not find on the menu at Storybook Dining? Is it A, Bashful's Bountiful Brussels Sprouts, B, Magic Mirror's Slow Braised Pork Shank, or C, the Poison Apple Dessert?
I don't think you can find Bashful's Brussels sprouts.
Is that your answer?
That's my answer.
That is correct.
It's too happy.
Hooray!
Because it's kind of more villain. It's kind of like Evil Queen heavy.
Well, you can get Bashful's Fish of the Day. They also have a Hunter's Harvest.
Yeah, gross.
You can get a Gooseberry Tart.
I mean, I would be interested in that.
And as in the aforementioned Magic Mirror, Slow Braised Pork Shank, and the Poison Apple Dessert.
Who is eating a pork shank?
I don't know.
When did we get so Michelin star at Disney? I mean, like...
Look, if you're paying for, character dinings ain't cheap. If
I
you're
know.
paying quite a bit.
But I would rather...
For the people who aren't excited about meeting the characters, they're going to want something fancy.
I'd rather give me a delightfully roasted chicken breast and take $10 off of the
I
cost.
think there should be. I think there is some chicken you can get.
I know. We don't need to go so hard. We don't need to pretend. It's like McDonald's, and here we go. Here's today's rant.
Okay.
It's like
let's close out this video with...
It's McDonald's never needed to be the McCafe. We never wanted that. We wanted Ronald and the Hamburglar. We wanted fun colors. We wanted the play places.
Yeah.
We didn't ask for whatever this modern...
We used to be a true society.
Yeah. So, like, Disney, listen. We don't want bone marrow. We don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want that.